Well, we're a little late. Kids did not want to go to bed tonight, so we are a little late. Let's get this thing pulled up here on the other device so I can read y'all's comments. Well, we got one thumbs up, but it says no one's watching. YouTube's real good about stuff like that. Oh, there's a live. There we go. What's everybody doing tonight? Well, there's lots of hellos. Hello, everybody. Oh man, there's a bunch of hellos. Oh, probably turn the volume down on this one. What was the moisture? Well, a little bit we ran today. I think it was 22, 23%, but keep in mind that combine hasn't been dialed in. We haven't taken anything to the elevator yet. We're basically just making sure everything's going to work and trying to get a moisture. But yeah, I think it's probably in the mid 20s or low 20s. Picking corn and beans in Mississippi. How's it going? It's going pretty good. Pretty good. Hello from Denver. Are you going to Farm Science View? I am going to Farm Science View. I will be there tomorrow, which is Tuesday the 17th. I'm going to be in the Sea Consultants booth from like 11 to 12. So if anyone wants to meet, that's going to be the easiest place to find me. Because, I mean, I will be there from 11 to 12. Which just happens to be lunchtime. And George will be with us. How do those Oakleys hold up for safety glasses? I can usually get like a year out of a pair. Normally after a year, they're so scratched up that I'm just ready to replace them. The one pair I did break, but pre-YouTube, my combine caught on fire for a hot second, and I stepped on them. So that is why they broke. Did you go to college? I did. Now, if you guys listen to the podcast that I was on with Shark Farmer, he said I don't know, I didn't realize this at first, but after listening to it, he asked me about school. I said I went to college, and he said, "You got your degree." I did not get my degree. I did drop out of college. So, did go to college, dropped out. When is it going to be full blown harvest? Well, I'd say in probably a week. It also kind of depends a little bit on if that leg is ready to go in a week, which it probably will not be. But I'd say in a week, um, we'll be gearing up pretty hard. I know we're kind of planning on trying to shell some corn later in the week. We're going to dry it, take it to town, as the tentative plan at the moment. Oh, that's the wrong button. Let's see, where are we at in the chat? Man, there's a good bit of comments already. That's pretty cool. Love the honesty of your videos. Well, thanks. Try to keep it real. I'm from Ohio, still 4 to 5 weeks out. Wonder what part of Ohio you're from. There's I mean, just around here, like our neighbors that started corn last week, they ran a couple days and now they're out of dry corn. So. I just lost my place. Started picking corn a few days ago. Okay. They sure are running corn from Columbus all the way to our fields. All right. Hello from Michigan. How's it going? Even though you're from the wrong state. I'm just kidding. It's a Buckeye joke. We started to cut beans today in Tennessee. I don't know anyone around here cutting beans yet, but it won't be long. If you guys have been seeing in the videos, our beans are turning. I'd say we'll probably have beans ready to go in probably a week and a half. Did you get a new tractor? If you're referring to that video that said we bought a new tractor at the Farm Science Review or Farm Progress Show, that was kind of a joke. I bought my kids a remote control tractor. But no, we have not bought a new tractor recently. from Lima, Ohio. Okay. What's your average yield per acre on corn? Last few years it's been pretty good. I mean, there's been a pretty large increase. Last year we averaged 229, which is the best we've ever done. What state are you in? I am in Ohio.
Lunch snacks.
Well, Mrs. Brown just is getting ready to join us. Apparently she caught me eating the kids' lunches. They have good lunch snacks. I mean, I loved fruit roll-ups as a kid. Best part about having kids, you get to eat the stuff you like when you were a kid. Why was millennials farmers' grain bin done in 5 minutes and yours took 5 days? Took longer than 5 days. I don't know. You have to ask the crew that built it. Now, one thing to keep in mind, the grain bin that they built, I think I was seeing in his video today that his was a 30-foot by 9-ring bin. So I would venture to guess that's probably a 20,000 bushel bin, somewhere in that range. The one that they're building for us is an 80,000 bushel bin, so it is quite a bit different size. Trying to pull the tripod down without crashing the iPad. Where were we? I just spilled coffee down my leg. Feels great. You're like, there we go. Now you're centered, kind of.
Hello. I can't read the names of them.
Yeah. Did you see that?
Hmm?
Here, you read these.
The catwalk model is here.
Just start up here. We are like.
Why didn't you put a pit in?
We wanted to keep everything above ground with the new grain facility. Like the other grain place, the leg is down in a hole. We always fight water there. And being that I'm the guy, besides George, who usually has to take care of that water, we didn't want that. Our thought was, let's put in a decent sized leg and see how that goes. And if we ever get to the point where we're running 2 or 3 combines, we could then put in a pit to make up that difference.
What was the moisture on the corn you did today?
It was 22-23%. I think, like I said, the monitors aren't dialed in. That was just we're basically just dipping the heads in.
Think we'll be farming in December? Or are you going to farmer in December?
I'd like to, but this is the first she's heard of it, so I don't know. I don't have any plans to as of yet, but I would like to go. It looks like a great event.
Did you get your corn head working?
No, just haven't really worked on it a whole lot. Like I said, that corn head, it's going to go over very few acres this year, so right now there's just a few more things that are higher up on the priority list. I think I seen a super chat. Did you see what it was?
No, I seen on there. Layton from Lima, Ohio says they still have 4 to 5 weeks till combining starts. Was it weird taking out corn with the combine instead of the skid steer?
Yeah, it seems like this year we've knocked out a lot of corn with a loader bucket.
When will we see the new grain cart?
Probably next week. That grain cart's at the Farm Science Review in London, Ohio this week. And then after the Farm Science Review, it is coming to the farm. So,
What brand is the old corn head?
the old corn head, some of you are talking about the 8-row. It is a cat head. Well, it's a Lexion head. Lexion heads are made by Capella. Basically, they're Capella units on a Lexion frame.
Will you be at the Farm Science Review tomorrow?
We'll be there Tuesday. Like I said, if you want to meet up, I'll be there all day, but 11 to 12, I will be at the Seed Consultants booth.
Why is your brother coming back?
Well, he kind of got to the point where I think he was kind of getting burnt out at the motor shop. One thing led to another, and they just kind of decided that he wanted to try something different, so he's come back to the farm.
Jeff Myers eats his kids' Lunchables, it sounds like.
They're delicious. In fact, they're like right over there. Like there's a 12-pack of fruit roll-ups looking at me. Where you at in the chat? Here, Chief.
Why did you get that thing built? I don't know what thing it is. The grain bins, maybe?
I don't know. On to the next one. Who was it?
Ryan Peters.
If you're still watching, what thing you talking about, and then we'll answer.
Did your dad decide on a sprayer?
No, not yet. Still kind of planning on holding off. Like I said, planter is the highest priority as far as the equipment. Also, when it comes to equipment purchases, we always want to see what kind of crop we have in the field. We think we have a pretty good idea, but you know, it always makes us feel better to get some crops off and then determine, you know, what kind of income we're going to have for the year.
How many hours are on your tractors?
There's just a lot of tractors. The 1038 has 320, and that's the only one I know, because that was, it's the one I'm in the most.
Have you ever been to Farm Fest in Minnesota?
Never been to Minnesota.
Any winter wheat this year?
Yep. Right now we have scheduled 380 acres of winter wheat. That will depend on, you know, that's provided we can get it in. Last year I think we had 420 acres of winter wheat that we were planning on planting, and it was just too wet. We didn't make it.
I don't know how to say that. Mycotoxin?
Well, I think I think it would be vomitoxin, but I mean, if you're talking about vomitoxins, I don't see that being an issue this year. This year's been less wet than last year, so I think we'll be all right. What was the super chat?
Just said thanks.
Oh, say his name.
1, 2, 3, Jim Thomas.
Thanks for the $2. You just bought Kayla a pack of cookies.
Oh yeah. How long are your beans off?
How long till they're off?
Yes.
Say we still have at least 2 weeks from the earliest plan we have. Usually end of September, early October is when we start on beans.
How does minimum till affect yield?
We've been minimum tillage for the last 20-some years and haven't noticed any ill effects. But then again, we've also been doing it so long that I don't know. I really can't give a good analysis on that. I guess we'd have to have some ground that's conventional tilled to really know. But I mean, I don't see any yield drag from it. Talking to neighbors that do conventional till, everyone's yields seem pretty compatible, and we're using less fuel, less resources, less man hours. So. But then again, that also depends on the soil types you have. So we have fairly light soils, so it works well with no till or to minimum till.
Why did you get a second corn head?
Price was right, like I said in the video. We did some trading. A neighbor of ours had that corn head. He got it really cheap at an auction. He was buying a piece of equipment off of us. We used it for trade value. So we basically have scrap price in that corn head. So even if it is a complete flop, does not ever run an acre of ground, we get our money back pretty easy.
Do you go to El Dorado, the racetrack?
You mean outdoor?
Eldora. Yeah, probably Eldora.
I'm guessing you're talking about Eldora. I've never been there. Big Mike goes there every year. I don't know, it just seems like I never really make it to dirt tracks very often, but I do like watching them. George is probably in bed. Someone asked where George was. I'm guessing he's sleeping. He's either sleeping or getting ready to go to sleep, because we're going to the farm science view fairly early in the morning, so he's getting his beauty sleep.
What's your favorite coffee?
The coffee from the Family Donut Shop. I'm fairly positive they use just plain Maxwell House. I don't know what they do, but it tastes different than all the other coffees I've drank, and I drink a lot of it. This is instant coffee because I'm terrible at making coffee.
Will you be doing any planter demos in the spring?
Don't know yet. Would love to, but I don't have anything scheduled at the moment.
Reed Strickler is Kyle's friend that we gave the hat to. He said thanks.
Oh, I'm glad you like your hat. Hey, take a picture, post it on Instagram, and tag us in it. Are you asking?
I don't know. Who does that? Do you think you will have white mold?
No, we've never really had any issues with white mold in soybeans. It's not really in, from what I understand, it's just not in this area. I'd never even heard of it till some other people brought it up. So I don't think we'll have it this year.
Mark Pfeiffer likes our wood trim.
Thank you.
Do you think you or BJ is going to do the wheat planting?
Me. One thing I noticed in some of the videos, a lot of people had commented about like BJ farming before. I mean, no offense to my brother, but he doesn't know a whole lot about farming just yet. When he had farmed with Dad before, really all he'd ever done was run the grain cart. He was basically on the same level that Trey was last year, and that's been 20 years ago. So I mean, I'd say at some point, like maybe next year, he'd be able to plant wheat. But right now, I'm just not comfortable turning him loose in the wheat planter just yet. And all
Has
that.
any of the deer shed their velvet yet?
I believe so. I haven't really been watching the deer all that much. Have to ask George's son, my cousin Ben. He would know.
How many? What's SDS? Have any SDS?
I don't know.
Did you get the gearbox on the corn head fixed?
Not yet. I haven't really messed with it much since that video. I unhooked it from the head today, or unhooked it from the combine today. See one about my truck. What year is your pickup and is it tuned? It's not tuned. It's a stock 2004 with a straight pipe. I actually have an airbox for it sitting in the barn. Just never have put it on. And maybe someday I'd tune it. It would be nice to have a little bit more power, but I'm getting old. It's not something that like I had. Like when I was 10 years ago, that thing would have been tuned, and yeah, it probably would have been broke by now.
Do you think we will be in the field in December or January?
I hope not. Last year was the first time that we've been harvesting in December, I think, in a long time, let alone January. So hopefully not. Hopefully we're done before Thanksgiving. That's always the goal. Just the last 2 years we have been harvesting on Thanksgiving, and I'd like to relax on Thanksgiving.
Which donut shop you talking about?
Family Donut Shop, Londonderry, Ohio. Tell them I sent you. Maybe they'll give me a coffee or something.
Mark Pfeiffer wants to know how our personal garden turned out this year. Terrible. We didn't even try it.
Okay. This is, I think, the first year we never planted a garden.
Right. Westerhouse Farms got his grandpa wearing your hat.
Oh, well, hey, that's awesome. Thank you. If you got an Instagram, take a picture and tag us in it.
Are you fighting weeds in fields this year?
Not really. We probably have more weeds in our corn than our beans. We plant extend soybeans. All of our neighbors do also, so we've never really had any issues with it drifting. But since we started planting extend beans, our soybeans are extremely clean. Like, have no complaints with it so far. Like I say, it does help that all of our neighbors, for the most part, are planting extend beans.
When will your wife run the combine or tractor? Gonna run it right over it.
Yeah, funny story about Kayla running equipment. When we started dating, keep in mind we've been together since what, we were 17. At that time I had a 2003 Duramax, and she said, "You love that truck more than you love me," yada yada yada. Made me feel terrible because I wouldn't let her drive it. So finally one day I just pulled over and I was like, "Here, drive it." Scared to death. So that's her extent of running equipment. I think you pulled a header wagon one time because Dad just said, "Take this." Didn't give her an option.
True Bob Brown style. Is it possible around you guys to double crop corn?
One of our neighbors has done it a few times.
Corn on wheat, correct? I don't know what that means.
Yeah, he's talking about double cropping corn after wheat. One of our neighbors had done it a couple times. We've never done it. He's really the only person I know that has done it, but he did have success with it. I think it would just really depend on the year. Sometimes we're able to get our weed out like, third week of June, and then, if you can get that right back in there, that might work. It worked for him those couple years. I don't know if he still does it or not, but it has been done in this area.
Farming Dream said go Buckeyes.
That's right. You going to the farm science review tomorrow?
How's the grain leg coming along?
They delivered it today. I thought they were going to start it today, but that was not the case. They delivered it around 5 o'clock this afternoon, and I haven't even been over there since then. So I don't know what all's there. I know they don't have all of it there yet, so hopefully tomorrow they will get started on it. Like I say, that's our main holdup at the moment.
What other farmers do you watch on YouTube? Ever get any ideas from them?
Well, I watch Cole the Corn Star. I watch Millennial Farmer. I watch Welkers. Those are the main three that I watch. I also watch Big Tractor Power. Watch Harmless Farmer. Mike Less. I'd have to look at my subscription list, but those are the main ones that I watch. So I mean, I'll pretty much watch any video, but those ones are the ones that when they come out with a video, I try to watch as soon as I can.
Bart Rogers says OHIO.
Yep.
What corn brand do you plant most?
We plant probably 70 to 80% Sea Consultants, and then we always try some other varieties from different companies. We've got some Channel, some DeKalb, some Pioneer, and then I think that's it. I think that's all we have this year.
Have you ever thought about demoing a speed tiller?
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. The only problem with those, like, I'm assuming you're talking about a high-speed disc, you need a lot of horsepower to pull those. I don't know.
Man-eating spider.
Apparently we had a spider crawl across her foot. But we don't have enough horsepower to pull like a 30-foot high-speed disc. You need like a 600-horse tractor. So that would probably be our limitation there. Like, I don't know what we could pull. Never really looked into it all that much, but I mean, I would try one. So.
What's George's favorite food? Free.
Yeah, he's all about the free, but if he's being picky, hamburger. That's probably his favorite food.
Tell him like like he keeps the ketchup and the cheese thing.
George he's kind of cheap, if you haven't noticed. Like I said, George's son is close to my age, and me and him are very close. And one day, like, George has a routine. Every day he used to get up and go to McDonald's for breakfast. He doesn't anymore, but this was a few years back. And he would go there and eat breakfast. He called Ben, my cousin, and said, "Hey, do you want breakfast?" He said, "I want a sausage and cheese sandwich." And George told him, "We got cheese at the house. They charge 10 cents for that." He brought him a sausage sandwich. But yeah, he also hoards ketchup and napkins, since they make great shop towels. So Daddy Cornstar, you're not the only one that hoards ketchup. George used to have a big Tupperware container full of packets of ketchup from Wendy's.
How much? Toy Farmer 70 wants to know, how many bushels a day of corn do you try to shell?
As many as possible. I mean, 20,000 is a pretty good day for us. Seems like it doesn't happen that often, as often as it should. I mean, we can usually shell 10 to 15 pretty consistently. Like I said, we should be able to do more than that. It just seems like something always comes up. Something either breaks, someone's got to go home. It's just hard to get a good day of harvest sometimes.
Do you have your bat ready for this year's rat season?
I do. We've been working over those grain bins, and oh yeah, Lucille's ready to roll.
What is coming out? Wasn't. After how many hours do you change your tractors and combines?
Well, as the crop prices have went down, that has changed. I mean, 10 years ago, once they started getting close to 1,000 to 1,200 hours, we would think about swapping out a tractor. But I mean, Dad's tractor has 2,000 hours on it now, I think. So, and we don't have any plans of changing in the near future. So it just kind of depends. I mean, basically now it's once they start becoming problematic, or if we found like a deal we just couldn't pass up on.
Bailey Brisky says hi, and her dad loves you guys.
Yeah, well, thanks for watching. You are one of the 3% of females that watch this channel, apparently. That's what YouTube tells me.
It's a good story about George. Do you have much crop loss due to deer?
Just in spots. Like some of the smaller fields, once you start getting away from the river, you notice more. They got more wood lines around them. The fields are generally smaller, so usually you have your deer loss right around the wood lines. So I mean, if you have a 20-acre field that's surrounded by trees, you're going to notice it more than you would in a 180-acre field with trees on one side. Just in case you're wondering, MF means millennial farmer.
If the millennial farmer, someone said you guys should do a competition and whoever gets finished first should go to the other one's farm or something. I don't know.
There's like 1,000 acre difference of corn there, so, or difference of crops. So I feel like he has a slight advantage. But we have 2 combines, so I mean, he's probably still gonna beat us. We'll probably start 2 weeks before him too.
How many gallons of fuel do you go through in a day?
BJ's calling.
Let me get that.
No, that's what's in there. Just depends on what we're doing. When we're both, actually tillage, we probably go through more fuel than we do when we're harvesting. I don't know. I mean, but when we had that Steiger, we would go through like 350 gallons of fuel pretty easy in a day.
Do you get management tags for the farm?
Management. Oh, deer management tags. No, we haven't. In previous years, we've got tagged where we could shoot more deer than like whatever the state law was. Basically, whatever was in season, you could kill as many deer as you wanted. We haven't done that in a long time.
Do you think you and your brother have a difficult time transitioning to work together?
I don't think so. I mean, it's gonna be a little different, but so far everything's going pretty smooth. Me and my brother have always had a good relationship together, but we're also, there's a huge age difference, and as people keep asking which one of us is older, he is 12 years older than me.
To the day.
I haven't told him that. That was going to be a surprise, but yeah, we have the same birthday, as it turns out. But we've just never worked together. Like I said, once we became adult, I mean, we've had a good relationship together. But working with someone, well,
Farmers are practical people, but do you put any stock into the idea of Bigfoot or the Ohio grassman? I've never even heard of the Ohio
I've never heard of the Ohio
grassman.
grassman. Yeah, never heard of that one. Pretty sure I've seen a Bigfoot once.
Your Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Is BJ hired hand or a partner?
At the moment, hired hand. What's your dream combine to run? I would really like to run one of those new Klaus combines at the moment. I'd like to either run one of those or a new Fendt for the whole day. Like nobody else in it. Like I just want a day or two to really run one by myself. Were you at the Bigfoot comment?
Just let me read.
She's a better reader than I am.
You do the farming.
I do the farming, she does the reading. Proven fact. You know it's bad when your 6-year-old starts correcting you when you're reading her a bedtime story.
The Gannat ones. The Gannat.
Shh. Read.
Have you ever visited all 88 counties of Ohio?
No, the northwestern part of the state and the very northeastern part I've not been to much at all.
It's almost duck season.
It is getting close. She hates it.
Who reads the seed bags?
She wouldn't know how to read a seed tag.
Do you have any problems with wild hogs?
No. What's that say about corn wares?
Spoon feed the corn.
I don't know. I'm sure they do. I've never really watched corn wares all that much.
After harvest, where are you going on a backpacking trip?
That's a good question. I would like to go backpacking anytime. I haven't been there backpacking since January. I would like to go to Shawnee State Forest in Southern Ohio. Keep it close to home for now.
How do you like the new Challenger compared to the Deer?
There's no comparison. I mean, the old 8400 is a good tractor, but it's also 23 years old. Does it say, will the grain cart be on the... Will the 8400 be on the grain cart? There's a chance it'll be on one of them. If you don't know, we're getting a demo cart from Unterford. So we're thinking we might hook the 8400 to the J&M cart that we already have. And maybe at some point we might get into a bind where we need 2 carts.
Is your dad watching this?
I don't know why.
Okay, because Dinosaurs and Me wants you to name one dinosaur. Well.
I don't think he's watching. BJ just texted me asking for his Sling ID. Oh, where's Teddy?
Have you done any spot checks to see what your corn might yield this year?
No, every time we've done spot checks, they seem like they're always way off, so just don't put a whole lot of store by them. I've picked a few ears from random spots, and I mean, they've looked pretty well, but I mean, you could easily find one that doesn't look very good. Just depends on what part of the field you're in.
What equipment does the farm need?
Does it need?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if I was categorizing stuff in order of importance, I put a bean planter at the top. That's probably like the main thing that like I would say is closest to needing to change it. We could probably get by with our old bean planter. It's kind of getting to the point where it needs a lot of work, and it just seems like unrelated issues keep happening with it. And I don't think it's cost us money yet, but I think it's getting there.
Are you thinking about buying another semi?
Not at the moment.
What's the price of cash rent? Or what's cash rent doing in your area? Seems the lower corn prices get, the higher rent goes here.
That seems to be the case here. I don't know how some of the people are making it with what they're paying on rent, but I mean, I guess they are. They're still farming. So. You got a sharper pencil than I do.
Hoping you get done with harvest early, cause Rob Leather wants to see some duck hunting videos on after hours.
I tried to record some duck hunting videos last year. The problem with duck hunting is I enjoy it so much it's hard for me to put the camera down or put the gun down and pick up the camera. I don't know. I don't really know how to film one. You almost need a dedicated cameraman, I feel.
It's not cooperating.
I thought you were the master reader.
I am. The iPad's not scrolling. Shawnee trails are steep.
That's what I hear. That's why I want to go there.
Do you ever plan on doing a meet and greet?
Maybe at some point in the future, but not. They don't have any immediate plans for it in the near future.
Let's see. Tim Mangan says, "Heck with farming. Let's get the hot rods out."
Now we're talking.
Matthew Hahn, what is your organic matter number roughly on your fields?
I do not know. I have to look at a soil test, but I don't know off the top of my head.
Isle Royal, check it out for the backpacking trip of a lifetime.
Okay.
Jeremy Sears. Any more combination videos with other YouTubers?
I mean, I don't know if I see him. I know Andy's going to be at the Farm Science Review this week. I don't know if he'll be there like the same time I am. Guessing you read something funny. Is it the one that's like,
Jonas Shores is having a heck of a good time at his house.
okay. If you guys didn't know, when there's a chat, like in a live stream, sometimes a comment will get like blocked from you guys and we'll have to approve it. Apparently this guy's having a good time.
Does George live nearby?
George lives pretty close, a couple miles down the road.
How serious is your dad about buying a new sprayer?
I mean, I think it comes down to, I don't know. If there was a good deal on one, I think he'd be very tempted to buy one, but it's not something that has to happen. So therefore, there's no need to, I don't know. Like if he got the numbers that he wanted to see, he would probably buy a sprayer.
M. Weber, how many children do you two have?
How many we got now?
3.
3. I'm just kidding. I know how many kids we have.
George needs a vacation.
I don't know. He pretty much lives on vacation. I'm just kidding. He's still kind of recovering after falling off that motorcycle a while back.
How big of a grain cart are you getting from I can't say that, Unpreferred?
I haven't seen it, but I'm fairly positive it's a 1,100 bushel cart like we have. So I think it's 1,100 bushel. It is on tracks, but I don't know what the track size is. I think it's. I don't know. I don't. They have 2 different track systems. One flexes 4 different ways. I don't think we have that one.
Any of your equipment tuned for more horsepower?
No, not at the moment. I wouldn't mind having the 8400 turned up a little bit, but at the moment it's just completely stock.
What's your favorite time of day to be in the field?
Probably just at dusk, like when the sun's setting, starting to get dark.
Do you like Alice Chalmers? We run them in a Challenger.
Yeah, got no problem with them.
Do you have any outlooks on the forthcoming winter? Is it looking harsh?
It's coming.
What's our predictions?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Cold.
It'll probably be cold for a little bit, and then it'll be warm.
Is George related to you?
George is my former uncle. He was married to my aunt, and then they got divorced 10 or 11 years ago.
Have you ever been, in a feedlot?
Yes.
What projects will you be doing this winter?
I could tell you what we're going to be doing, and then it wouldn't happen. I would like to clean the shop out. Shop's a wreck. I would like to make it a little bit more organized. I don't know. There's a few things we could do. I mean, on the playing side of things, I wouldn't mind getting my grandpa's old truck in the shop and cleaning it up a little bit. Anything else?
How are the beans looking?
I don't know. They look all right. I think we're gonna have pretty decent beans.
Brandon wants to know how we get our kids to bed so early. They wake up at the butt crack of dawn and they don't stop moving all day.
Yeah, they'll be.
So they're tired.
Yeah, they usually wake up between 5:30 and 6. And they crash around 7 to 8. In this case, 8:30 tonight.
Is there much cattle up this way?
Not a whole lot of cattle in our area.
Pap says clean your shit in the shop. Landon Brown, what's your language,
Yeah.
sir?
Apparently, my nephew, which is BJ's son, is watching this, and he's at my dad's house. So, Dad's a good one to talk. Tell him I learned it from the best.
Did you have a choice in tires on the 1038?
We did, but we basically just went with whatever the AGCO rep suggested. Did you lose your place?
Does your aunt get mad about you still working with George?
No, and George and I have always had a very close relationship, and he's always been very close with Dad too. I mean, I think maybe at first there was a little bit of, I don't know, mixed feelings about it, but I don't know. I mean, George has been like a second dad to me my whole life, so it sucked that those two couldn't, work through their differences, but I've always still thought of him like a dad, so.
The new drive over looks sweet.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I can't wait to start using it.
Ever been to Wayne County?
Yeah, lived in Wayne County for 2 years. Went to Ohio State ATI.
Corey Goosen's wife is from there.
Okay. Yep, lived there for a couple of years. Very similar to Ross County, which is where we live.
How many total bushels of storage do you have in all the grain bins?
Right at 350 now. Yeah, I think. Pretty close to it, somewhere in there.
What is the weirdest thing you have seen while harvesting corn?
That's a good question.
Okay. It wasn't while harvesting corn, but remember during the fair, that guy who drove his truck through his girlfriend's trailer and then ran from the cops into the field?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, a few years ago, it was actually been several years ago. I mean, it was 2012, I think. And I only know that because there was a drought that year. But a guy was on drugs. He tried to kill his girlfriend. He took off streaking through our cornfield. And, I mean, it was kind of a sad deal. He eventually shot himself in the middle of a cornfield. But that's probably the strangest thing that's ever happened in one of our fields.
And the time that the police found weed growing close to the river or whatever?
No, that's happened several times. One time, Dad was walking along a road, like one of the farm lanes. He just happened to look up at this shade tree, and there was just flower pots full of pot hanging off the limbs. Kind of strange. And then one time, we had a farm logged, and the guy that logged it, he kept coming back to check on some stuff, and then my uncle caught him checking his pot garden. So I guess everything's pretty much drug related, but.
What about a winter rebuild project would make good content?
Yeah, I don't know. We don't really have anything to rebuild at the moment. Got some work we could do on some planters. Now, rest assured, we will find something to do. I mean, January is basically when I become a professional duck hunter for 30 days. I don't get paid, so I guess not kind of an amateur. But.
What is your preferred choice for nitrogen?
We use 28 for everything, basically because we use our sprayer to put on our nitrogen. I don't know, we wouldn't mind putting on dry fertilized, strip tilling it in. So at the moment, 28.
How many bushels per hour is your grain leg?
I think it's 8,000 or 8,500. I'd have to look at the sheet but I'm pretty sure it's 8,000 bushel an hour.
Ever consider doing a corn maze?
She wants to do one. I do not, just because we're super busy at that time of the year, and I don't know, there's a lot of liability issues and stuff like that, and we really don't have any place that I think would be suitable for it. So.
Have you ever done anhydrous?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I'd say last year we put on anhydrous was 2007, but 20 years, like the previous 20 years, that's how we did most of that's how we did all of our nitrogen. Probably longer than that, actually.
What are your thoughts on the new collar for cloths?
I definitely like the yellow and black better, but I don't know. They didn't really ask me my opinion on it, so I'll just go with it.
Mike Shelburne wants to know, do you think you can grow a world record pumpkin?
People grow world record pumpkins in this area all the time. If you don't know, the Circleville Pumpkin Show is fairly close to us. Every year, what is it, like third week October?
It's always on my birthday.
Okay, third week October. They have the pumpkin show, and I mean, they have 1,100, 1,200 pound pumpkins up there every year. Yeah, don't drop the iPad.
Yeah,
Just got that thing today.
Bob tried growing pumpkins.
Yeah, one of Dad's friends was in the pumpkin contest, and he gave Dad some seeds one year. He had some pretty big pumpkins, but I think they got like 100 pounds. Yeah. Turns out pumpkins are fairly hard to grow. They're extremely susceptible to disease. You really have to babysit them a lot more than we're willing to do.
Have you ever hunted the big pond close to Eastern Avenue in 23?
No. I hope no one hunts that pond, because if you're in this area, that's where all the ducks roost. So if someone shot that out, it would really just screw over the whole area, because all the ducks would leave. Every duck that we shoot comes from that pond.
Why did you choose the brand of tractor you use?
Price, service, got along good with that dealer. I mean, we've had John Deere for a long time. We've had Case IH, and now we have AGCO. Have no regrets, but I mean, basically they all make a good tractor, and I mean it really came down to price and who we thought we were going to get the best service from. So that's why we are where we are.
Bryson Rhodes wants to know if you've ever been to Florida.
When we go last summer we were in Panama, and then we went to Disney. So last year.
Are you in the Canadian Goose Fly way?
Yes, we get a lot of Canadian geese in this area, and they are extremely fun to shoot at.
Where will you be at tomorrow, tent-wise, so I can see you?
Don't really have anything scheduled, but tentatively I'll be at the Sea Consultants booth from 11 to 12. It's kind of closer to 70 at the show. It's probably, I think it's 3 or 4 rows back from the 70 side of the show.
How many rows is your combine head?
The main one we use is a 12 row, and then the other one we have is an 8 row. Like I said, the 8 row is not going to get used much at all, so 12 row 99% of the time.
Okay, explain the CDL thing in farming, how you don't need one.
Farmers don't need a CDL. I don't know if that's really all there is to it. We've been pulled over by DOT one time. The guy told us, "I didn't realize you were a farmer," and then he sent us on our merry way. So I've heard in the line that farmers are exempt from DOT, and then I've also heard that's not true. I'm sure someone will chime in and tell me that I'm right or wrong, but yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. They kind of just, I don't know, don't mess with us. The scale man will pull you over though. I have got a scale ticket, overweight ticket. Worst part is when I got that overweight ticket, I said, "Hey George, put a little bit more on there. I ain't even that heavy yet." And then I grossed at 92,000 pounds of beans. $700 later.
Is wheat worth it to plant?
No, we just like losing money. Now, I don't really particularly care for growing wheat. It's nice to have in the rotation. I don't think we've ever lost money on it, but I think we could make more money probably growing corn or beans on it. But we're kind of slowly phasing it out. A few years ago, we were planting 600 acres of wheat. The problem with that is if you just quit 600 acres of wheat all at once, you have a cash flow problem. Once you get into that system, we have 600 acres of wheat we're selling every summer, so that's 600 acres worth of cash that we have coming in the summer. So we're kind of just trying to slowly phase it out. We probably won't ever phase it out completely, but we are cutting back.
Is your dad ready for corn harvest?
He started greasing that combine today with no intention of running any corn whatsoever. I was over at the farm. I came back over home to get a different piece of equipment. And when I came back, I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "We're shelling corn." So I think he's ready. And it was pretty exciting to see the combine in the field. I was ready. I was thinking, man, we could hook up the grain cart. We could fill that truck. We fill this truck. We're just not quite ready just yet as far as logistics.
It's the same way in North Carolina for these CDL things.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's countrywide.
But in Kansas, they require a CDL for farmers.
Never mind.
Yeah.
It's a state deal.
Can you explain your crop rotation? If you harvest wheat, do you plant beans on top of that for the next year?
Okay.
Did I read that right? I don't know.
Now, not every acre is in a 3-year rotation. Like I said, we plant 400-ish acres of wheat at the moment. But basically, if, let's say a field's in wheat this year, that field's going to get harvested in June, planted double crops. The double crops are going to get harvested hopefully early November. Then that's going to get turned into corn the next spring, and then beans the next spring. Well, after those beans are harvested, keep in mind this is 3 years from where we started. After those beans get harvested in the fall, it's immediately going to get planted back into wheat. That's kind of how the rotation works.
When is the grain leg going up?
Should be going up this week. Like I said, I set the GoPro up this morning, so when you guys watch tomorrow's video, you're going to watch me climb that bin for no reason. Because they did not start today. They delivered part of it. I hope we have a grain leg up in the air by Friday. I don't know if that's realistic or not. I don't know. I mean, I've never seen them build a leg. I do not know how long it takes to build one. The tower is all built, so that part's out of the way. They just got to stack the leg and then put the tower on top of it.
Does your farm do interns, or perhaps do you involve local FFA and 4-H groups?
No, not at the moment.
We were in high school, the 4-H, or not the 4-H, the FFA, they did that. We did that
We did a trap program. That was through the OU Extension Agency, but this area of Ohio is not as big of an ag area as maybe some other parts. There's really there's not a lot of farms using like FFA interns or 4-H interns that I know of in this area.
Would a combine like the Case IH 8250 actually be useful to you? Is that combine the Wilker's demoed?
Yeah, I mean, it's an autonomous combine. One thing about, that's not a new concept. I think a Claas combine has had that functionality since 2015. And really, the next combine we get will probably be that way. I've seen a lot of studies that show that it pays for itself, and the fact that some of the best operators in the world will never match the efficiency of an automated combine. It's kind of a sad fact, but it is what it is. And I'd say, next time we trade combines, that's something I want on my combine. Just one thing less to worry about. It's always doing its thing. I just hope it works through, over time. Hope it doesn't eventually cut out.
How bad are the deer this year?
No different, normal really.
When the time comes to trade combines, will you consider the Fent or stick with Claas?
We'll definitely price the Fent. We'll probably also price Case and Deer. I'd say the Fent and the Claas are probably the front runners for us. But I would like to run a Case combine. Never ran one, and Dad hasn't ran a John Deere since he had a 9660. What are you doing?
What do you think of your husband's beard?
Okay. Coming up on an hour, so get your questions in quick, because I think we're going to shut her down in an hour. Had to pee for 20 minutes.
I seen something about quail and pheasant.
Don't really have a lot of quail or pheasant.
How long have you had the farm?
This farm that we live on's been in our family since 1929.
Do you anticipate enough profit this fall to feed George?
If we go broke, that will be the reason why. No, I'm George likes to eat, but he never eats expensive meals. So that's one good thing about him. See, back before YouTube, we used to take turns buying, and it was always beneficial to me.
What kind of profit per acre would you hope to average in a good year?
Man, I don't know. I guess it would depend on what you call a good year. I mean, here lately, the profits per acre they're not very high. It's hard to say. I mean, different acres have different input costs, be it cash rent. Some acres need more fertilized. So, I mean, I don't know. It just depends on the ground.
Have you demoed is that a gleaner lately?
No, we haven't demoed a gleaner. We have an AgCo dealer, but they don't have the gleaner contract. The local gleaner dealer, we don't have a whole lot of experience with. So, now, we would like to we demo a gleaner. Dad's always been a gleaner fan. I've never driven one. Dad's last gleaner was from, I think he got rid of it in 1990, the year I was born. So.
Did you get is that the tile?
Yeah. Yeah, all the drain tiles in for now around the grain bins. I mean, we have some field tile we'd like to put in some of the fields, but right now they have crops in them, so that's probably something we'll hire out. Tariffs, your view. My view on the tariffs, if there's a benefit to them, I have no problem with them. I mean, we're definitely losing money on them right now. I mean, a year and a half ago when those started, the price of beans fell like 20% within a week. I mean, that was pretty hard to swallow. But like I say, if there is a benefit to them, like if there's light at the end of this tunnel where it's going to benefit us, I'm okay with it. If not, this kind of sucks. But that's kind of my view on it.
Richard wants to know if we're in Ohio or Indiana.
We are in Ohio, the great state of Ohio.
That's one. Are you planning any more cover crop?
Actually, seeded some today, and basically just because they were in the barn, we can't take them back, so we just got rid of them. I think they'll grow. I don't think they'll do a whole lot.
Mitchell Doolany wants to know what some of my talents are.
Your talents?
Yeah, I can catwalk.
Yeah, she's a good catwalker, apparently. Did not know that was a skill. That was a new.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't know.
I mean, you're really good at eating cookies.
Yeah.
She's kind of a. If you ever heard of Grandma's chocolate chip cookies, that's a brand. She keeps them in business.
Have you guys ever thought of diversifying? A lot of farmers raise chickens alongside like doing crops.
I mean, at one time we were in cattle, but just kind of got to the point where we were kind of stretched pretty thin. Didn't have the right equipment that we needed. Everything needed updated, so we just kind of put all of our energy into grain farming. If we were to diversify, there were some things we have to change. We definitely need more manpower. So at the moment, we're pretty comfortable where we are. And I guess I kind of am diversifying. I'm doing YouTube. I seen something about the master pipe layer.
Make sure you stop by Precision Agro Service booth tomorrow.
I'll see you there, Evan.
Is your wife a good cook? If so, what's your go?
You never tell your wife she's a bad cook. You just eat it and be, yeah.
Your butthead. If you had to put in tile drainage, would you hire the master pipe layer?
Yeah, I just feel like it'd probably be pretty cost prohibitive to get his tile plow from Minnesota. But yeah, Randy, if you're ever in Ohio, plow and tile, come on over.
How many bushels does your combine tanks hold?
Both of them, well, one of them's 300 and one of them's 330. Dad's is a 330 bushel tank, mine's a 300.
Need some chickens for the kids.
We had chickens 2 years ago.
Terrible idea.
What do we have? Like 22 chickens?
It's like 20.
And we also had 2 turkeys and 3 ducks. And you fast forward a year and a half later, we had one chicken that survived. And we gave it
Putting ducks with chickens is
bad
a
idea.
terrible
Well,
idea.
they were all male ducks, and they basically raped the chickens. They almost killed the chickens. We had to get rid of them. The 2 turkeys, they died. They just
They
died.
had vent prolapse or whatever. Their insides fell out and they just both
They
died.
laid an egg and died.
Yeah.
And then the chickens
They
just.
fell victim to Hans a couple times.
You guys see Hans in the videos and think he's a cute German Shepherd. He probably killed like, a good 7 or 8 chickens. Had some coons get him the chickens, possums. A couple of them just died. We gave a few of them away, and then we gave the last one to George like 3 weeks ago.
Something like that.
So we are out of the chicken business. Where are we at here? Getting ready to close it out. So answer these last few, and then we're going to end this bad boy.
What's your favorite meal?
What's my favorite meal? Steak. I like steak. And I like chicken, but mostly steak. It's hard to beat a good ribeye. A turducken? No.
How much?
How much kilograms is in a bushel? I don't know. That's one thing I've got a lot of questions on, converting bushels to metric tons and stuff like that. I'm sorry, I don't know. Everything here is in, not metric, but what's the other one? Standard, or I don't even know what it's called. We measure things in bushels here, so how's that?
How tall do you wish you were?
Pretty comfortable where I'm at.
I'm average.
She claims she's average. She's a foot shorter than I am.
In New Zealand, we work in tones per acre, or is that ton? I don't
I'm
know.
assuming it's tons.
And average corn crop does 5 tons per acre.
Okay. What's your favorite fast food? Probably Tim Hortons, because I like their coffee.
I like Molly's now.
What is Molly's?
That Asian Express with the rice and the noodles and the chicken and the vegetables.
Is that where we went on that date?
Yeah.
I like Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons. If I'm going to like a more common chain place, Wendy's. I don't really like McDonald's at all. Where are we at here? Let's finish these up. We're going to answer 3 more. So.
Did you and your dad buy your combines at the same time?
No, Dad's combine he bought brand new in 2015, and I bought mine. I think this is the 3rd year I've had it. So it's a 2014, so it's fairly used.
Are tracks useful where you are located?
I mean, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of experience with them. I feel like they're useful, but not as useful as they are in other areas, like where the soil maybe compacts a little bit more.
What do you listen to, or what kind of music do you listen to in a tractor?
I usually listen to podcasts. Don't really listen to a lot of music anymore. I seen something about the Midland radios.
Is Midland just a family radio for the farm, or do they have longer range solutions?
I don't know. I mean, they go pretty long range. I mean, they go longer than a CB. So.
What header do you have?
We have 2 McDonald's Draper heads. One's an FD70, one's an FD75, and then we have a Capella folding 12-row head.
Are radishes worth the trouble?
I do not know. There's a lot of speculation on that because, I mean, they're not cheap. I think they're like $90 a bag or $80 a bag or something like that. So, I mean, there's definitely a cost per acre in those. I kind of like them more than tillage, especially where we put them. But I also ran a disc over them before I put them in. So, but we did put some on strict no-till, no tillage whatsoever. I like that better in that situation because where that is has a tendency to erode. So I didn't really want to bust that soil up.
What do you think about the Terra track for cloths?
I have very little experience. The only experience I have in it is the one we had last fall for a demo. It rained so much we never got to demo it, and the only time I drove it was to put it on a trailer for them to take it away. Seemed like a nice track system, but I mean, basically I just drove it down the road.
Mad Max Farms has to go to bed because he's 10 and he has school tomorrow. That's
Well, thanks for watching and hanging out, man. That it?
Call it a
I
night.
think we're going to call it a night. I have got to pee. So thanks for hanging out, guys. Like I said, tomorrow I'll be at the Farm Science Review. Be at the Sea Consultants booth 11 to 12. And we'll be walking around the show probably till they close. So if you see us, come up and say hi. George and Dad and me will be riding around in a golf cart. So hope to see you guys there. Thanks for hanging out tonight. See you.